Welcome! So I've been thinking about creating a small tutorial series on KSP2. So let's start with the simplest maneuver, achieving an orbit. But what does it mean? You've reached an orbit when you are moving around a celestial body at a speed that prevents you from falling back to its surface. The unit of measurement for your potential acceleration is delta V or dV, or the triangle symbol and V. Delta represents a difference and V represents velocity, which you can achieve with your available fuel. In order to achieve an orbit around Kerbin in KSP2, you will need approximately 3400 delta V, assuming you execute a nearly optimal gravity turn. We will cover the gravity turn technique in more detail later. When building your rocket, there are essentially two main things to consider. One, you need a minimum of 3400 delta V. Two, you must install an engine that can provide enough thrust to lift your rocket off the ground. This is where the TWR comes in, the thrust-weight ratio, which represents the ratio of thrust and weight of your rocket, and it needs to be greater than 1 for your rocket to take off. Furthermore, it is important that your rocket is reasonably aerodynamic to maneuver through the atmosphere. We achieve this by adding wings and a nose cone. These components help reduce air resistance and improve the overall stability during ascent. As you can see, the VAB, the Vehicle Assembly Building, shows us a little over 3600 delta V, which should be sufficient. However, on the launch pad, we see slightly over 3100 delta V. How is that possible? The difference occurs because the engines have different efficiencies in the atmosphere and in the vacuum. As we ascend, we pass through thinner layers of the atmosphere, which improves the efficiency of our engine. Therefore, we gain some of our delta V during the ascent. I use a few quality of life modes, such as K2D2, which functions as an autopilot. It takes care of many tasks that I have successfully performed countless times and don't want to repeat again. For example, it assists with rocket launches. I have simply configured it to reach an altitude of 100 km at the end of the ascent. At 3 km altitude, K2D2 initiates the gravity turn. But what exactly is the gravity turn? Well, during ascent, you have to contend with two forces. First, there's gravity, constantly pulling you back towards the ground. Second, there's the atmosphere that you need to push through. Now, the easiest way to leave the atmosphere behind would be to strictly fly straight up. However, doing so means you're fighting against gravity to the maximum extent. That's why we initially fly straight up to quickly pass through the densest parts of the atmosphere, and after that we gradually start tilting towards east, taking advantage of Kerbin's rotation, which greatly assists us. As you can see in the bottom left corner, we have now reached an apoapsis of 100 km. That means that if we continue along our trajectory, our maximum altitude will be 100 km. Now we can shut off the engines. We will coast until we reach that precise point and then apply full thrust to fall past Kerbin at just the right speed to achieve our desired orbit. Oops! As you can see, our delta V is unfortunately not sufficient to achieve a stable orbit. This means we need to go back to the VAB, the Vehicle Assembly Building, to rework our rocket and add additional fuel. It's crucial to have enough delta V to perform the necessary maneuvers in space, such as getting an orbit or making an escape trajectory. So let's get back and optimize our rocket to ensure we can reach our desired orbit. Let's add some more fuel then. Approximately 4200 delta V should be enough this time. And that concludes the first video of the series. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up or a subscription. Feel free to let me know in the comments which other topics interest you and what tutorials you would like to see in the future. Your feedback helps me create more content that you will find interesting. So thank you for watching and bye bye.